ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the main event for the Super Fight Series. In the blue corner, a man that needs no introduction. He is African combat sports royalty, making his Submission Kings debut. He represents and leads the charge for his team, Ultimate MMA Fitness in Kalami. Please welcome the mighty Demarte Pena. His opponent has taken time off from fighting fires in Cape Town. He represents Pride Fighting Academy. He too makes his Submission Kings debut. From the red corner, please welcome Juan Timm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the mighty Demarte, the Wolf Pena against Juan Timm. Demarte made a post today saying that he cut 8 kilos to make this limit. He really wants to compete. He's obviously had a long time off from MMA, returned, didn't go his way, looking to get those competition reps in. I'm a massive fan of that. Demarte obviously identified that he needs to get competition experience back in, and we have the privilege of watching him grapple in front of us. I'm excited to see this one play out. Mr. Warren King.
Yeah, man, it's amazing to see Demarte back on home soil. He recently did compete again out in France, in Paris, France. Didn't quite go his way. He went up against an absolute savage in Taylor Lapalus, who's a UFC vet that kind of left the UFC on winning terms. So Demarte's really hell-bent on getting back into the competitive arena. Demarte, for those guys who don't remember, Demarte started his own organization called Resilient Fighting, and he actually started having grappling super fights on there. We had guys like JP Kruger, who's in the final here tonight, compete. And so it definitely speaks to his inclination or his preference to the grappling style in combat sport.
And I think that's what Demarte's known for, you know, a very heavy wrestling base. He obviously, as the wrestling got better, his striking evolved, and we got to see some amazing fights from him in the EFC. He does have a matchup coming up at Aries. He's going to be in Paris the night before the inaugural UFC Paris event. And like I said, man, this guy is just African combat sports royalty, and really privileged to have him here. Kudos to Pride Fighting Academy to send up Juan Timm against a very, very tough opponent like Demarte. But I mean, you get a win over Demarte Pena here, and it's off to the races.
Yeah.
Again, 2 guys we're keeping a close eye on, obviously with the featherweight 8-man coming up. In the corner of Juan, we've got Mr. Richie Lowe, who we'd also obviously love to have in the featherweight matchups. So yeah, a lot of interesting factors here, and this is what you expect from Demarte. Very cool on top, very calm, staying heavy, but Juan looking pretty sharp so far.
Yeah, I like the fact that Juan's using that overhook and then trying to get some sort of wrist control or bicep control. Looks like he's potentially trying to enter onto the triangle. Demarte obviously competed recently at another grappling event and got 2 wins. Kind of just getting his feet wet again.
And that's what I like about Demarte. He's so smart about how he goes about things. Obviously knows he can get competition reps in on the local scene here. So good for him, man, putting himself out there, competing, getting the reps in. But yeah, you've got to feel a bit of pressure. Demarte, he's in some ways probably expected to win this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Juan, so far so good.
Both guys brown belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Obviously, Demarte's wrestling pedigree is on a different level. Not your conventional wrestling pedigree, but very mixed martial arts specific wrestling style. I would have imagined that Juan would have tried to get to the top position first and not let Demarte get into his position that he's basically made a career out of, just being in the top position, controlling the hips. Problem here for Juan is that his 1 foot is across Demarte's hip line, so the triangle's not really an option, but he could try and isolate an arm and enter onto an arm bar. Now Demarte going with the over-under pass, transfer to the, keep passing to his right.
Great frames there from Dejuan, left
Yeah.
hand on the hip, keeping the pressure off.
Demarte's keeping his arm between Dejuan's hips. Okay, he's transferred it now, but he obviously runs the risk of Dejuan entering the reverse triangle.
Yeah, this is bread and butter for Demarte Pena.
Ooh,
Buggy
a little
choke
buggy
setup.
choke setup. Dejuan needs to
Demarte
get more angle though. He needs to try and get more onto his left hip, so it'll give him enough leverage to get under his right leg.
Am I right in saying Demarte kind of postured up there a little bit the second he felt that?
Yeah, definitely. Demarte also tried to run his hips back, try and get a better angle on the hip so that Dejuan was kind of like facing away from him.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, up next we will find out who is going to be our first ever middleweight champion, contested between JP Kruger and Gelson Souza. 10,000 Rand and the middleweight title up for grabs as we continue the action here. Demarte Pena versus Dejuan Timm.
Dejuan's leg pummeling has been great. He's obviously recovered the guard using the leg pummeling, but also tried to enter onto the submission quite aggressively using that leg pummeling motion. Oh, Demarte's got back exposure now. This is very difficult. If Demarte can connect his back to the center of Dejuan's back, or at least onto the shoulder blade, then he can start transitioning onto the back.
I did mention at the top here, Dejuan Timm is a firefighter in Cape Town, family man with 2 beautiful kids. He is a firefighter at one of the busiest fire stations in Cape Town. We know that takes some mental fortitude, long hours, risky business. Credit to the man, and we are very happy to have him here in this massive matchup.
Demarte entering onto the dash choke there. He's getting the breakdown. He hasn't quite got the arm through, but he gets the tap. Beautiful work from Demarte Pena.
I'm with your winner here, ladies and gentlemen, Demarte Pena. Demarte, we spoke about on the commentary, you're obviously trying to get those competition reps in. How important is it to you to come out here, get those reps in, and get a win on the stage?
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't fought in a while. Fighting again on 2nd September, so I need to get my rounds in, get competition ready. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Jiu-Jitsu is life, man. So if you can't do Jiu-Jitsu, you can't fight.
How different is it preparing to come and compete in a jiu-jitsu stage? A lot less things to worry about or more things to worry about?
You know, the combat one I find it very difficult because I don't want someone to be slapping me. But big ups to Raymond and Gift Walker for that round. But yeah, just getting better, man. I think the level of jiu-jitsu is growing a lot. We just need to keep putting in the work. Thank you.
Honor and a privilege to have you here. Your winner, ladies and gentlemen, Demarte Pena. Thank you, sir.
Coming daily under pressure, working on applying the scheme. The true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking 1,